All right, folks, coming back at you from the PNJ Newsroom. I'm DC Reeves. I've got Jason Blakeney with me as usual, and we'll wrap up the 5 games. We got the regular season's all finished. We got playoffs coming next week. These games don't have the same meaning that they did in the previous weeks. This is just sort of wrapping up the season, a couple rivalry games, this and that. But all the real action starts next week. But let's start with these 5. You had the most action at your game.
Absolutely.
You were at Catholic Milton, and Catholic pulls one out in overtime.
Yeah, it's a game that Catholic led pretty much the whole way. The only time that Milton led in the game was when they led in overtime by 3, and then it was only for 2 plays. Catholic comes back, gets a 3-yard run from Marquise Summer to go ahead and win the game, his 3rd touchdown in the game. But great performances, great individual performances for both teams. You had Sean White, 270 yards passing, 2 touchdowns. Devin Dukes goes over 1,000 yards for the year with 99 yards and 2 touchdowns. Marquise Summer had 3 touchdowns. And then for Milton, you had Matt Floyd, throws for nearly 400 yards, 398 yards, 5 touchdowns. Isaiah Jones gets 4 touchdowns. His first 4 touches of the game were touchdowns. It finishes with 5 catches, 170 yards. It's just a truly remarkable game.
Right, 77 points, 80-something passes. You're going to see a lot of big numbers there. But I saw a lot of big numbers at my game, PHS Escambia, but it was all on one side of the field. PHS wins the old wash boiler back, 41-0 over Escambia, and it happened right from the start. First 30 seconds of the game, Escambia gets the opening kick, fumbles on their second play from scrimmage. PHS comes out, scores on their first play from scrimmage, 6-0. Then Escambia gets the kick again, fumbles on the kickoff, and then PHS goes down and scores. That's all she wrote with that defense that PHS has. That was 12-0 in the first 2.5 minutes of the game. As we've known all year and last year, that's all you need. PHS 12-0. It was pretty much over from there. They roll 41-zip, and I think they rushed for about 311 yards, held Escambia to 54. So it was just a complete lopsided, what you'd expect from a team that's number 2 in the state.
Yeah, PHS been impressive all year. You keep waiting for them to have a letdown. Just haven't seen it this year. Last year they had one squeaking out a couple of games, near the end of the year. This year they've been solid all year. You have to wonder if anybody can really compete with them until they get into the middle rounds of the playoffs.
Right. As I've said for the last few weeks, I think their playoffs truly don't start till the 3rd round. St. Augustine probably. The 4th round, of course, is Tampa Jefferson in a state semifinal, and then the 5th round is the state championship game. So I sort of look at it as a 3-game voyage for them, because those first 2 rounds they'll be heavily favored. And again, tonight was an example of why. So anyway, 41-0 there, and then the other rivalry game we had was Gulf Breeze Navarre. Gulf Breeze actually led this one early, 17-7 early, but Navarre playing great football lately. They come on back, win 34-24, and with the Catholic forfeit counting as a win, that's 9-1. And that's a school record for wins in the season for Navarre.
Yeah, they're actually trailing at halftime there, 17-13. You kind of saw a little bit of what that team has in them. They didn't have to win this game. It really doesn't matter in the overall scheme of things. They could have just gone ahead, hung it up, said, you know what, we've already done enough. Let's just get into the playoffs. Didn't do that. It's a great sign for Chad Lashley going forward.
Yeah, and we'll wrap up the last 2 games quick, and we're going to talk about. We'll sort of lay the groundwork for you for our playoffs, our 5 area teams in the playoffs. Our last 2 games, we had Northview beat West Florida 28-7. So Northview finishes their year at 9-1, and Jay limps in at the end there, finishes 0-10 with a 44-0 loss at Weewahitchka. So those were our final 5 games, and and let's lay out our 5 teams. We've got in 4A, we've got Pine Forest. They will host Crestview. We've got Navarre that will go on the road to Niceville. That's in 4A. 3A, Pensacola High will host Jacksonville Andrew Jackson. In Class 2B, Catholic will host Fort White. And in 1A, Northview will head to Bluntstown. Out of those 5 games, what sort of stands out to you in terms of first round? I mean, it seems like we've got some lopsided, especially the teams hosting. The Catholic, Pine Forest, and PHS all seem to be pretty heavily favored in their games.
Well, the runners-up are actually the most interesting to me. One thing interesting about this week, though, 4 of the 5 playoff teams in action, all 4 win. So, good sign, good momentum for them going forward. But next week, the 2 runners-up, Northview and Navarre, both of them have to go on the road, but both of them are very winnable games,
Absolutely,
I think.
yeah.
Especially, surprising if you, at the beginning of the year, if you told me that Navarre and Niceville were going to play in the first round of the playoffs,
right.
Especially at Niceville. I'm taking the Eagles all the way, but Navarre, they've been playing maybe the best football of anybody in the area here in the last couple of weeks, and it'll be interesting to see if they can go over there and pull off the upset against a team that went undefeated and went to the state championship game last
Yeah,
week.
and I've said that in the paper, and to clarify, I think they are playing the best football right now. Now, that doesn't mean they're the best team. I'm not saying that PHS would have any trouble beating Navarre. I think PHS is the best team right now. All I'm saying is they might be, for how good they are and the product that they put on the field, I think they're playing the best football.
Right.
So, yeah, I 100% agree. Northview can go win at Blountstown. There's no doubt about that. And Navarre can win at Niceville. Niceville, I think, is, a lot of it's on reputation. They're a solid team, but they're not, let's face it, they're not the team that made it to the state championship game last year. And the way Navarre is playing, they could certainly go over there. The only thing you got to worry about there is nerves and some of that issue.
Right.
So anyway, yeah, you're right. The two runner-up games, the two road games are very winnable, and those are really the most intriguing. And it should be another exciting week. I mean, five great games overall.
Right.
You're going to get to see a couple teams get tune-ups. I think with Pine Forest and PHS, I think they'll cruise easily. But other than that, it's exciting, man, to getting ready for the playoffs.
It could be very interesting to have almost half of our area teams in the second round of the playoffs.
Right.
Obviously, either Pine Forest or Navarre would be eliminated there. But other than that, we could see 4 teams go into the third round. That'd be pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it's been an impressive run. We've seen a lot of impressive things, a lot of 1,000-yard rushers this year. A lot of great quarterbacks. We've got a lot of great individual performances, and we've got a lot of great teams. This really has been a sort of a standout year among the last few, in a lot of different facets. So I'm sure it'll stay just as exciting here for the playoffs, and we'll be bringing all of that info, all the action to you as we normally do. We'll keep running our videos on Friday morning, previewing all the games, and then we'll come back at you Saturday morning as you're watching right now, with our wrap-up show and our Check My Stats Players of the Week.
Yeah, so. Next week, a lot of special stuff coming from us to kind of kick off the playoffs. Check out that Wednesday News Journal. It'll be a big section for you. Yeah, we're going to have a four-page pullout, and then we'll have all different types of information, all the breakdowns, and all that. I'll be cracking on that on Monday morning, so I don't even know what's in it yet, but it's going to be good. Thanks so much for joining us. I guess we'll see you, Friday morning.